What's happening, YouTube? This is Champion 2D Rob back again with another video, guys. How is everybody doing? Blooming hell, mate, it is hot as hell right now, man. I am boiling. I've had to shut the window because obviously noise, can't make a video of all that noise outside, so it is actually very hot in here, man. Anyway, back to, great to be making another video. I've got another pickups vid for you guys. I've got some great stuff here. I've got stuff from CEX. I've got stuff that I've bought from YouTubers, stuff from eBay, loads of retro, loads of modern. It's a great mixture of stuff that I've got for you guys. So yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into it, guys. So the very first thing I thought I would start with is going to be the stuff that I picked up at CEX. I went out and about what's that, a few days ago or whatnot, just here and there to my local CEX and to a couple just slightly further away. There I was looking up, trying to find a couple of games in particular, and so I went on the CEX website, saw where these games were. Unfortunately for me, you know, they weren't too far away, so I was able to pick these games up. But the thing is though, even though you might find that there's the games that you want in certain stores, you may turn up and they'll either be like in really rank condition, missing a manual, and I don't buy the games without manuals. That's actually a rule that I have. So if I find a game in CX, even if I want that game, unless it's super duper cheap, I won't pick it up unless it has a manual. But yeah, so I'll start with the games I picked up at CEX. So I do actually have a few retro games I also picked up at CEX as well, but let's start with some PS3 games that I've picked up. Now, a lot of you are probably aware of the recent price rises of PS3 games. PS3 at the moment is going through a bit of a spike in prices at the moment. I don't know why. It's a little bit earlier than I expected it to be, but there are some games that are shooting up in price. Really they are. But fortunately, these are just a few games that I'd always wanted to pick up at the time, but just never got round to for whatever reason. So I thought, you know what, before all these games start to really shoot up, I'll just try and grab them while I can. So there was like a series of games that I've always wanted to pick up for the PS3, and I just never really got around to it. So I managed to find two of them. There's three on PlayStation 3, but I've got two of them. I still need to get one more. And the games I got here, well, the first one I got here is Army of Two: The 40th Day. So this one is complete with manual. And yeah, I played this ages ago as a demo. And you can have like 2-player co-op, so each person plays like a soldier and you sort of go and protect each other. So one can go in one direction, excuse me, one can go in one direction and the other goes in another direction. You sort of cover each other and stuff. It's really a lot of fun. So I thought I would pick this series up. So man, this is the sequel, which is Army of Two: 40th Day. Managed to track that one down. I can't remember what I paid for it, but it was cheap. Like, it wouldn't have been more than £3. But yeah, chuffed to have that one. And I also managed to find a third game in the series, which I think is probably the most uncommon game of the three, and that is Army of Two: The Devil's Cartel. Now, this one didn't come with a manual, but it just sort of came with some codes and whatnot. I imagine it's been used. If it hasn't, here you go, guys. Use it if you like. I don't care. Go on. But it does have like a precautions booklet and whatnot. But no manual. So let me know, guys, if this actually came with a manual. Wasn't really sure, but I know I paid £6 for this at CEX. So yeah, I still need to get the first one, but yeah, good to get these two, because they do seem like a lot of fun. I do remember playing this, like I say, the 40th Day, played the demo, really enjoyed it. So yeah, great games to have. And Next game that I wanted to pick up for the PS3, and that is Bionic Commando. So yeah, I always wanted to play this game. I played this briefly through what was it Google Play, Google Streaming, something like that. When it was free to play, so I thought I'd give it a go. But unfortunately, my internet is crap, so the game kept buffering on me, kept stopping and starting and whatnot. But it seemed like a fun game, so I thought, you know what, £2.50, you can't go wrong with this. I know the game got kind of mixed reviews at the time, but you know, for this price, I can't grumble. And of course, it is complete. So yeah, looking forward to giving that a go. And this game here completes the series for me on PS3. I've been trying to find this game. I had the first two. I picked up the first two a while ago, so happy to get this one complete. And I've got loads of receipts in there. I'll just take them out. So yeah, so what I got is MotorStorm Apocalypse, which is the third game in the MotorStorm series. And as you can see, it's just £4, and yeah, it is complete with manual. So sort that out. A lot of little pamphlets in here and stuff, so I'd like to clean this up a bit. Okay, so yeah, so that is the PS3 games I picked up from CEX, but I also picked up some retro stuff as well, which is really cool. First up, for the Game Gear, I just picked this up, to be honest with you, because it was cheap. It was going for £2, and I am sort of picking up Game Gear games. I don't have the means to play them at the moment, but I know they're going to come in handy later on down the line. So I thought, you know, I'll just start picking up a few select titles. But of course, if I do see them cheap, I'll just pick games up. And I found what's it, G-Lock Air Battle. So I found that for £2 at CEX. So yeah, nice one to have. And I got three Game Boy games here as well. So I picked up in the case, I picked up Alleyway, which I think is like a Arkanoid sort of game. I think it is. It is basically Arkanoid. I remember playing this as a kid, actually. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's Arkanoid, you know. It's a fun game. So glad to get that. That was, I can't remember how much it was, but it wouldn't have been more than a few quid. It was definitely less than £5. And I also picked this one up. No idea if it's any good or not, but it's basically it's just called Pinball Deluxe. So I don't know, generic pinball game. Who knows? But again, it's really cheap, so I thought I'd pick that up. And lastly, picked up from CEX, and that was Kirby's Pinball Land. And actually, do you know what? I just realised I didn't pick this up from CEX. I got this from eBay. Do you know what the confusion was? Is that I bought this on eBay, and then a few days later I saw it at my local CEX. That was it. That's probably why it was on my mind as a CEX purchase. But who cares? So this was an eBay purchase. It was like about £5, really. So yeah, I've never played Kirby's Pinball Land, and I'm a bit of a Kirby fan anyway. So I've actually heard this is a pretty decent game. So I thought I'd pick that up. Okay, so that was basically it of CEX. And let's see here. Next item I picked up. This is just going to be one I bought off Amazon. I bought this a while ago now. I bought this months ago, and I basically bought this as an accessory to my SNK Arcade Stick Pro. And what I bought was the Neo Geo Mini controller. So this is the one that is compatible with the with the plug and play Neo Geo, what was it? Plug and play arcade little unit. Can't remember what it was called. But it also works with the SNK Arcade Stick Pro, and it works great. This one is a white controller. I'll take it out of the box. It's really nice. I've got to say, right, I was actually really impressed by this. I expected the controller to be quite cheap, but honestly, it's a lovely controller. I have to say, it's got a nice little weight to it. I mean, the thumbstick is not micro switched, but it feels great in the hand, and it definitely doesn't feel cheap. And it works really well with the Arcade Stick Pro. I use this to play a lot of the main games I have on it. I know it sounds sacrilege because people are like, well, why don't you just use the arcade stick? I do, but I got to admit, like, I'm just very comfortable with controllers. So I like playing a lot of the arcade games with a control pad, and this one works wonderful, and it works really well. You just hook it up to the Arcade Stick Pro, and it just works like a dream. So really chuffed to get this. Actually, I might get the second one as well for 2-player action. Okay, next up, let's see here. Shall we do? Let's do some PS4 pickups. No, actually, I've got one 3DS game, and this is a really cool 3DS game. So I picked this up off eBay, and this is a game that I've wanted for a while. It's been on my watch list for a long time. Never really got around to pick it up. The price on it has really fluctuated, and since sort of like 3DS is basically, you know, it's no longer in production. A lot of these games now are starting to either climb or decrease. It's definitely going. It's not quite in it's not quite, you know, going up in price quite yet. It's not really becoming. It's not in a collector's radar just yet. But some games are becoming a little bit, you know, rarer than others. So I had this. I was concerned that I didn't want to miss out on this game because it does seem like one of those games that probably will become collectible in the future. So I managed to score a brand new sealed copy, and I actually got it for a really good price. I wasn't expecting to see it for this price on eBay, but the thing was with this is that it was sold, even though it's brand new and sealed, it was sold as damaged goods, and I'll get into that in a second. But the game I picked up was Spirit Camera. So this is part of the Fatal Frame, the Project Zero title. So they're those horror games, and yeah. So basically, this game used on eBay is selling for about 30 quid, and I managed to pick this up for 25, brand new and sealed. It was a new old stock. And the reason why the seller was selling it for cheaper than what it would normally go for was because he had a bunch of them, and he showed the picture, and basically at the sort of spine there was like this really sort of thick burnt sort of line going through a lot of the copies. Not all of them, but just some of them. And that's why he was selling the games at a lower price point, was because of that. So I thought, you know what, I'll take a chance, I'll buy one, whatever, because I did see that there was a few of them that didn't have the marking or whatever. So I just thought I'll just take a punt, take a shot at it. You know, if I get a really messed up one, you know, oh well, it's still sealed, I don't mind. And you know, fortunately for me, there's nothing on there, nothing at all on the spine. I'll just focus that. I feel you can see it very well, but as you can see, there's absolutely nothing going on in the spine. It's absolutely perfect. So yeah, really chuffed with that, because like I say, used copies of this game on eBay are selling for 30 quid and upwards, and I got this for 25. So yeah, I thought that was a really good deal. Really lucky with this one. Okay, next game I've got here. So before we get to PS4, I've got one DS game. Now this is actually an import title. I haven't bought any import games in a long while, and I definitely have. I don't buy import DS games. I have a few American games, like I have a few American exclusives and whatnot, but I don't really go out of my way to buy import DS titles. And this is actually my first import Japanese DS game. And I actually remember I knew about this game for a long time, and I just forgot all about it. And then I can't remember what it was. I just sort of was watching a video on Fist of the North Star or something to that effect. I can't remember what it was. And they brought up this game, and it just reminded me to go pick it up. So as I was able to track this one down, I actually imported it from the US. It's brand new and sealed. You know, I got it for a standard price. It basically, with import fees and whatnot, it basically worked out to 40 quid. But it is brand new and sealed. So I can't remember offhand what the name of this title is, but it is a Fist of the North Star game for the DS. And this one is basically, it's a really cool one actually. Even though a lot of the text is in Japanese, it basically it plays out like a comic book that you sort of interact with. So it's sort of like a quick time event sort of thing, where you have to use the stylus and you sort of tap the screen at various points. So it's supposed to be like you're punching someone, like you're hurting someone, but you've got like a time limit, and you're supposed to hit people at certain points within the time limit, and then the sort of story carries on. But because I'm so familiar with the story of Fist of the North Star, like I don't really need English to understand what's going on, because I'm just very familiar with that story. But it plays out like a comic book, so you see like various comic panels of the Fist of the North Star story. A lot of it that you guys probably know if you've seen the Fist of the North Star animated film and whatnot. It plays out like that. It's really cool. And I'm a huge fan of Fist of the North Star. So this for me was definitely one title I wanted to add. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. It reminded me a lot of there was a Fist of the North Star arcade machine. I remember seeing that about a long time ago now, about 20 years ago, and where it was like where you'd hit the bag, so like a bunch of pads would come out, and then you'd have to hit the pads sequentially. It's sort of like mimicking Kenshiro, the main protagonist, and you sort of mimic his multiple punches, and it's sort of the same thing, except you sort of do it with a stylus. So, but it plays more like a quick time event. But yeah, really chuffed to get this actually. It's just a very cool, unique title. Probably not one for like the average DS person, but like if you're a fan of Fist of the North Star, then this is definitely one you want to add to the Fist of the North Star game collection. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some PS4. Actually, the first one we're going to start with, now this is actually a gift I got from your friend of mine, Scott, Sega Zombie. And this basically came about from Swap Shop, you know. Also set up by my mate Lee, the retro chef. And, you know, everyone knows Swap Shop. So Scott Sega Zombie basically put this out that he wanted to sort of move this on. No one really showed any interest in it. I just sent, you know, Scott a message, said, "Yeah, mate, I'll have this game if you want to move it on." And Scott, through the kindness of his heart, just sent it to me free of charge. And what he sent me was Resident Evil 8. So yeah, really chuffed to get this, mate. So thank you so much, Scott, for this, mate. Really do appreciate it. I look forward to giving this one a go, actually. I have to admit, I held off from buying this game because I'm not really one for horror games, and this one really kind of freaked me out. And that's because I played the demo of it, and it's sort of first person, which I will admit did sort of turn me off as well, because I do prefer my Resident Evils in third person. But this game is actually pretty good. I gotta say, it was very creepy from the demo that I played, so I do want to get into it. And like I said, Scott very kindly sent this game my way for nothing, so thank you so much, Scott, for this, mate. Really do appreciate it. And the next game, so this is basically a bunch of PS4 games that I picked up over the course of just a few months or whatnot. And the first one I picked up here, and this is one that I was very interested in checking out. I don't know why, it just seemed very interesting to me, and that is Sakura Wars. So if you don't know about Sakura Wars, this is basically, if I get this right, it's a dating sim crossed with a third-person mech hack and slash game. And I've been aware of Sakura Wars for a long time, but I've never played them. And this one just looked like a good sort of starting point. So yeah, I was just very interested to check it out. I think I paid 20 for this, brand new and sealed. Although annoyingly, even though it was brand new and sealed, the game arrived with the disc clip is broken, so the unfortunately the disc won't stay in place, which is really annoying. So I probably have to replace that case. But yeah, one that definitely looked really good. So yeah, dating sim crossed with third person action hack and slash. I guess we'll find out how good it is. Next game I got here, this one I picked up from Amazon, and that is Lego City Undercover. And I've been curious to play this game ever since someone basically described it as Grand Theft Auto but for kids. I'm always up to see what that's saying. That seemed like a lot of fun to me. I don't know. And I'm not really into the Lego games in general, but this seems to be a departure from the standard Lego games that comes out. So I wanted to check this out. This was 13 quid on Amazon, but I just happened to have a bit of Amazon credit, so I actually only paid 6 quid for this. So yeah, brand new and sealed. Looking forward to checking that one out. And then I had this really strong urge to just buy all these games in this series on PS4. You know, they've been released on multiple systems across multiple generations, but I decided to get all of them on PS4 and just really sort of plow through them. I'll probably play them back to back. So what I picked up was the Darksiders series. So I've got here Darksiders Water Mastered Edition. If I get rid of the glare, there we go. Of course, I picked up Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition. Really looking forward to checking this one out. I've heard nothing but great things. Then of course I picked up Darksiders 3. And finally I picked up Darksiders Genesis. This is like a prequel slash spin-off. It plays very different from the earlier games. The others are sort of more third person hack and slash dungeon adventuring, and this one plays more like a top-down action title, and it looks really good. So yeah, I look forward to getting that. They were all about around the 15 quid mark, so they're about, yeah, anywhere between 12 to 15 each, give or take. And the last two PS4 games I picked up. I actually bought these both together. I bought them from Argos, and so I paid for them online, went to my local shop to pick them up, and it was actually really quite funny because when I went to go buy these games, the lady at the counter actually was about to ask for my ID, which cracked me up because I've just recently turned 40, and the fact that I could actually pass or in her mind, I don't know, maybe it's because I had a mask on. I know I've got a baby face, but I'm pretty confident that I look older than 18. But yeah, so I went to pick up both these games together, and what I went to pick up was Ghost of Tsushima, which is why I got ID'd, and also picked up Spider-Man Miles Morales. And yeah, so these games are actually both going for a really good price. I picked up Miles Morales for 35, and Ghost of Tsushima was 26, which is the cheapest I've seen them go for. So that's why I ordered them from Argos. But yeah, really funny actually. It really did make my day. I was like, I had to laugh when I went to pick them up, because like she was about to say, "Are you of age?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've just actually just turned 40." And then she goes, "40?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Listen, don't worry about it. You know, you've actually made my day." You know, because I was having a bit of I was feeling a bit of the blues from having turned 40, but to have someone think that you might be a lot younger than that, just made my day. Made me smile. That was cool. But yeah, so I picked these two games up. Really looking forward to playing these games, I have to say. I've been biding my time, waiting for these games to come down in price. Spider-Man Miles Morales is frustratingly holding its price in most places, but I refuse to like spend over 40 on them. And Ghost of Tsushima, I've always wanted to play, but again, I didn't want to spend sort of big money on it. So £26, brand new and sealed, for me is definitely worth it. And 35 I thought was a very good price for Miles Morales as well. So just to get those. Okay, so next up here I have a Mega Drive game I bought ages ago. I must have bought this about 3 months ago now. For the Mega Drive, a really cool game. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this game. I did post it up on Instagram, and it's basically one that's just had my curiosity for a very long time. So I thought I'd check it out. It's a very uncommon game on the Mega Drive as well, and that is The Lost World Jurassic Park. And it is complete. Yeah, this is a surprisingly uncommon game. Like it was a very late release for the Mega Drive. I think this came out in '97, and so I wasn't even aware of this game. I didn't know there was a Lost World game on the Mega Drive, and it's very cool. It's basically like a top-down sort of run and gunner, but there are like sections in the game where it sort of goes into like a third-person mode in it. And it really does sort of push what the Mega Drive could do. It's very impressive. It's a very good tech demo for the Mega Drive in terms of what it could do. So yeah, I was just very interested to play this game. So I did pick this up from eBay, and it was a pricey title. I won't lie. I think I did overpay for it. But the thing is that most of the copies on eBay that were going for cheaper were either missing the manuals or just were in quite poor condition, and this one was in very nice condition, complete. So I shelled out the extra for it. It wasn't too much, but still it was pricey. But you know, good one to have. You know, like I say, it's just a bit of an uncommon title, and one that's just had my curiosity. Okay, so next up, I've got here some Game Gear games, and let's start with one I picked up. Let's start with one I just picked up on eBay. Like I say, I've been after a few Game Gear games, and I don't have the means to play a Game Gear games, but I know I will at some point in the future. So I thought I'd pick them up now while I can, just sort of here and there. Like, I'm not really putting any focus into picking up Game Gear games. I just sort of pick them up where I can. I picked this one off eBay. It's one I've wanted, and that is Streets of Rage. very curious to play this. I've never played any of the Streets of Rage games on the Game Gear. Although to be honest, I've actually not played many Game Gear games. It wasn't a system that I had access to much as a kid. All the kids I knew that had Game Gears were like really spoiled kids that would just like never let you play it. Like they would always show it to you. They would play it, but they would never let you touch it. I don't know. Seriously, like every kid I knew that had a Game Gear was like that. I don't know why. But yeah, so I picked up Streets of Rage for the Game Gear, so I'm curious to see what that one's like. And then I actually got like a nice, actually before I get into that, just very quickly here, I also want to shout out David, Retro Games Played Badly. I will link his channel in the description box below. Check him out. Very good guy, and he was on Swap Shop a little while back, and he sort of mentioned that he had a couple of spare Game Gear cases, and like with Game Boy, I don't like to have Game Gear carts without their cases, so I try to pick up cases as much as I can, because a lot of games I'm trying to get via eBay or CX or whatever, they don't always come with cases, and it can be very frustrating just waiting for one to come along with a case. So I try to grab spare cases as much as I can, and he very kindly donated 2 spare Game Gear cases to me, because he sort of mentioned that he had like a few spares, and you know, I did offer to pay him, but he said he wouldn't have any of it, so he just very kindly donated a couple of cases my way. So thank you so much, David, mate. Really do appreciate it, man. So yeah, cheers for that, brother. And then also I managed to pick up a bundle of Game Gear games from another YouTuber, again, my friend and yours, Pete, on a retro tip. How you doing, brother? And yeah, he just sort of let it be known, I think it was on one of our WhatsApp groups, that he wanted to shift a load of his Game Gear games. So I told him I was interested in them, and just the loose carts. Like, I wasn't interested in any of the box games. I just said that, look, I'm just collecting loose carts. You know, as long as they've got plastic cases and whatnot, I'm cool with that. So he showed me some pictures, and I was like, you know what, mate, I'll just have them all. There was one game he had that I had to sort of deduct from the group. I believe it was Sonic Labyrinth, which is basically Sonic 3D, the Mega Drive one, and because it's a pricey title, and I just didn't really have the funds to stretch for that. So we took that one out of the equation. He gave me a price, really good price, really chuffed with it, and he gave me a bunch of games and a few manuals as well. So let's just go quickly through the games here. We've got, I'll put these to one side, it's all going to fall off my lap. Let's see. Come on. There we go. So the first game we've got here is Aerial Assault. I know nothing about this game, but you know, worth having. Next game we've got, and this is an obligatory title, and that is of course Columns. Then we've got here, if I can get it open, Woody Pop. I know nothing about this game, absolutely nothing. I don't even think I've seen any footage of it either. So there we go. Well, I'll leave this one till last. Next one I have here is we've got James Pond 2, Robocod. Never played this on the Game Gear. I have played it on the Mega Drive. I might have played it on the Master System as well. I think I even played it on the Amiga back in the day. But yeah, never played the Game Gear version, so we've got that. And this game here, I had no idea what it was when I bought it, but after sort of checking out some footage and whatnot, this game is definitely up my street, and that is Crystal Warriors. And this game is basically like a tactical RPG, so very much like Fire Emblem sort of style, Fire Emblem Advanced Wars sort of game. So I had no idea that's what it was when I bought it. I just sort of looked it up afterwards, so really, really chuffed to get that. And the game that I wanted off him the most, so really, really chuffed to get this one, and that is, if I can get it open, Streets of Rage 2. So yeah, really chuffed to get this one as well. So nice to have both Streets of Rage games on the Game Gear. But not only that, he also threw in some manuals. So the first manual he threw in was Streets of Rage 1. Now he did actually have the Streets of Rage 1 cartridge for sale, but because I'd already bought it from eBay, he sort of left it behind. But he basically gave me all the cases, so all the cases that he had, and of course all the manuals that were loose. So I got the manual for Streets of Rage 1, I got the manual for Woody Pop, manual for Columns, and the manual for Crystal Warriors. So, and he did me a fantastic price, honestly, mate. I was really blown away by the price he gave me. So very, very chuffed, man. So thank you so much, Pete, mate. Really do appreciate it, man. That was an awesome little deal there. I know he said basically that he was getting rid of his Game Gear games because you know, he's just happy to play them through the EverDrive and whatnot, which I could do the same. I have an EverDrive. I also play them through that, but I liked, with my Game Boy, I kind of wanted to have some Game Gear games as well, even though I didn't really spend any time with the Game Gear as a kid, because I'm just such a fan of that 8-bit and 16-bit generation. It's basically the prime years of my gaming life. I thought, you know what, I want to have some Game Gear games to complement, you know, my Game Boy games. So yeah, really tough to get those, man. Really, really happy. So again, moving on, I've got another deal that I did with another YouTuber as well, and very, very chuffed with these. Now, some of you may not know him, some of you definitely do. And basically, I was speaking to Dal, aka the Retro Godfather. Now, he's a YouTuber that's been around for a very long time. I've met him in person many times. A lot of us older heads in the YouTube community know him. He's a very sound guy, very, very sound guy. He's a quiet guy, very reserved guy, very, very cool though. He shows up to a lot of events. And I was sort of talking to him, and I won't go into any details here, but basically he needed to move on some games, and specifically he wanted to move on a lot of his PAL games, because he's very big into his import games. He loves his Japanese stuff. So sort of the PAL stuff that he had, he just sort of wanted to move them on. And I was just sort of talking to him basically, and he told me what he had, and I immediately jumped at a couple of these games. So he sent me 3 games. So he sent me 2 Master System games and 1 Mega Drive game. So we'll talk about the Master System games first. Now the first game I've got here, he actually sent it to me. He threw it in. He sent it to me for free. And the reason why he did that was because when we were discussing games that I was interested in, unfortunately this one was in pretty bad condition, and he knew that I wouldn't really take it like in this condition. So I said, nah, it's all right, I'll pass on it. So once we agreed on the other 2, he just said, you know what, Rob, mate, you could just have this one. You know, I really just want to move it on. So you can have it for nothing. So I was like, oh, mate, cheers, you know. But like I say, it's a worn copy, you know. You know, I wouldn't have shelled out for this game, but in the condition, in any case. But you know, you can't argue when someone just wants to give it to you. So what he sent me was Taito Chase HQ. So it is complete with manual, but unfortunately the case is pretty battered. The case sort of collapses in on itself. You know, it's basically worn. The sleeve is worn. It's in rough shape. You know, it's an honest copy, as Tootie would say. It's an honest copy. But you know what, mate? Like, you know, I'm chuffed to have it anyway. And yeah, I've always been curious to try out this game for the Master System. Looks like it's in third person. It is in third person or first person. I'm not quite sure. It's in third person. Always liked the Chase HQ game, so definitely wanted to check out that for the Master System. So thank you so much, Dal, mate, if you're watching. Thank you so much for throwing this in. Really do appreciate it. So the games I actually did buy off Dal, really chuffed with these. I'll start with the Master System game here. So this is basically one game I've had my eye on for a while. I've never played this game on the Master System. Now, this is a very famous series. It's very well known. It's a particular favourite of Cine Steve. You can pretty much guess what it is. And yeah, and apparently I absolutely hate this series according to the YouTube community. But what the game I picked up for the Master System is Double Dragon. And this game is in lovely condition. Of course, it is complete. Yeah. Everyone says this is the best version of Double Dragon on the 8-bit system. So I'll be curious to see how it plays, because I gotta admit, I have played the NES version, and it left me cold. I gotta be honest. I was not feeling it at all. I think there are better beat-em-ups on the NES, personally. But like a lot of people keep shouting at me, is like, Double Dragon set the standard, you know. If it wasn't for Double Dragon, you know, there'd be no Streets of Rage and there'd be no this and that. But I understand all of that, you know. I'm just, to be honest with you, part of me is just winding people up. I understand the relevance of Double Dragon. I will never take that away. I just because when I sort of got into beat 'em ups, I sort of came in through arcades. So you got to understand the context of the graphics of arcade machines at that time, and then going back to 8-bit games, this wasn't doing it for me. Plus, Double Dragon is a bit more, how shall I say it? There's quite a few more moves you pull off and stuff, but I don't know. Maybe on the NES it was it sort of bit off more than it could chew. Super Double Dragon on the Super Nintendo is actually pretty decent. I will say it's far from my favourite beat 'em up on the Super Nintendo. There are far better beat 'em ups on the Super Nintendo, but I thought it was a decent little game. But by far my favourite Double Dragon game is on the Game Boy Advance. Honestly, guys, like, play the Game Boy Advance version. That game is fantastic. It's brilliant. But anyway, yeah, going back to Master System. Looking forward to trying this one out. It's in lovely condition. So thank you so much, Dal, mate. He sent it to me super quick. Really, really chuffed. Yeah, just very happy to add this one into the collection. Because as you'll see in a moment, I've been jumping in to Master System head first. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. So the next one here is a Mega Drive game. And again, this is one I've been after for a very long time. Very, very long time. I don't know. I didn't think I was ever going to pick it up, because I thought I kind of missed the boat on it, because it sort of climbed in price. And I just wasn't willing to shell out for it for some reason. But it was definitely a game that I wanted to pick up. So Dal had this available. He wasn't too sure if I was going to want it, because he didn't think it would meet my standards of quality in terms of condition. But to be honest with you, it's actually perfectly fine. It is missing the hang tab, But I have a couple of games that don't have their hang tabs. You know, I don't like not having the hang tabs, but it's not a deal breaker by any means. He thought maybe the manual wouldn't meet my standard, but I thought the manual was fine, to be honest. I can handle shoddy manuals, it's fine, and it's not even that shoddy, to be honest. I've got far worse in my collection. But anyway, the game I bought from him, and I've again very chuffed to get this game, and that is Fire Shark. So this is a vertical shooter, and it is complete, of course. Yeah, it's just been one I've been after for a really long time. I know it got recently re-released as part of the Tower Plan collection, but I wanted the original. I didn't want to buy a reissue of this game. I wanted an original copy. So yeah, very chuffed to get this, and so I got these 3 games from Dal, and I have to say, mate, like, he did me a stellar deal on these, man. Seriously, like a really good deal. In fact, because he asked me to send him an offer, so I sent him an offer, and then he ended up countering my offer with a less amount, and I felt quite bad because I know I was getting them for a good price anyway. So I said to him, look, mate, how about we meet in the middle? So I'll give you a little bit more. And he didn't really want to have that, you know, but I had to insist because I knew he was giving them to me for a really good price. Like, even at my asking price was more than fair, and he was actually willing to take money off it and sell it to me for even cheaper. But no, I had to give him a little bit more. So we sort of met in the middle, and yeah, so he just gave me a fantastic price on these. Really chuffed. So thank you so much, Dal, mate. Yeah, really happy with these. I really am. Honestly, I'm over the moon, especially with Fire Shark, because that's been, for me, that's been a long time coming. Definitely wanted this one for a very long time. So again, thank you so much. Right then, so finally now we have got the last batch of games, and these are all Master System games, and yeah. So basically, as you guys might know, it was my birthday in May. It was my birthday on the 12th of May. So around that time, I decided to treat myself with some Master System games. I've just basically had Master System on the brain lately, ever since I did my collection video. It was while I did my collection video and sort of watching it back that I began to realise that I was just missing quite a few games that I've been after, and it's just been dwelling on my mind. I wanted to pick them up, so I thought, you know what, I might as well just go straight for the jugular, try and pick them up as much as I can. And I have to admit, I did all right. I picked up a nice little chunk of games here. So really chuffed to get them, and they're in fantastic condition, I have to say. So first one I picked up, let's just move these here. So first one I picked up, and this is a game that I've just been curious to play. I want to get the Super Nintendo version of it as well. I have the Mega Drive version. I do enjoy that game. I want to get the Super Nintendo version. So I thought I'd try out the Master System game. Wasn't too sure, never played this as a kid. And what I picked up was Alien 3. And it is complete. It's in lovely condition. Wasn't expensive, paid 11 quid for this game. Really chuffed. Yeah, fantastic. It's amazing condition. And yeah, it basically looks like an 8-bit version of the Mega Drive game. So yeah, looking forward to giving that one a go. Next one I've got here, and this is one I did play as a kid. So looking forward to giving this one a go, and that is Enduro Racer. And this is complete as well. Now, I struggled to actually get this game in good nick, so I actually had to pay a bit of a premium to get this game in a good condition. I paid about 25 for this, 24, 25. But the average price for this game is probably around the £7 to £10 mark. But honestly, they were all battered, missing manuals, really battered condition. it was really, I was really struggling. I sort of had this on my watch list for a very long time, just couldn't find the right copy. And then I sort of saw this one, but had to pay a bit of a premium for it, but I'm okay with that, as long as I get a nice condition copy, because I do remember playing this game and I do remember liking this game as a kid. So yeah, definitely wanted to add this one into my collection. Next one I have here, again, this is one that I was very curious to play, and I actually, the more I thought about it, I realised I actually had played this as a kid as well. Surprisingly, I was exposed to a lot of Master System games, just despite not having a Master System as a kid. I'm quite amazed that I was exposed to so many of the titles, but this is one I had to get just on principle alone, and that is Streets of Rage. So again, really nice condition. Happy as Larry with that. I'd love to get Streets of Rage 2, but that's going for a crap ton of money, and I'm not spending that money on it. I hear it's not even that good on the Master System, but yeah, so I'm not shelling out for that game. It's a shame, because I remember when I used to see Streets of Rage 2 on the Master System for like years. I could have picked that game up at any time for like 15 quid, and I never did. And now it goes for about 100 and something pound. It's really frustrating, but there you go. That's what happens. Next game I've got here, and this is just one I bought out of curiosity because it looked really interesting to me. I've never played it before. It basically is like a shooter, but you're on the ground. And the game I got is a Line of Fire, and it is complete. Yeah, this game looks really, really interesting. It's sort of like a vertical shooter. I think you can be on various vehicles. You got like a Jeep. I think you're on like a helicopter as well. It's just a curious title. Never really seen it before. Wasn't really that familiar with it, but it looks really cool, so I wanted to grab that one. And the last two games here, these last two games have been on my want list for a long, long time. One of them, the one I'm about to show you, I wasn't sure I was going to get, just because I've got so many versions of this game on other systems. But I've heard that this game has exclusive content to the system, so as a fan of the series, I just had to get it. And the game I got is R-Type. And this game is, again, lovely condition, complete with manual. Really, really nice condition. Yeah, chuffed to get this actually. This was basically spurred on by the fact that I recently bought R-Type Final 2 for the Switch. It just got me in that sort of R-Type mood, so I thought I would pick up this game because I've heard nothing but good things about this port of R-Type, and I've also heard this has got exclusive levels. So very, very curious to check this one out. So very chuffed to finally have this one in the collection. And also in just really nice condition as well. So really, really chuffed. I can't remember what I paid for this though. I think it was about 40 quid. It's definitely gone up in price. Again, I could have bought this game years ago when it was going for about a tenner. But there you go. But I won't complain. It's in very nice condition. And it's definitely, like a lot of people will say, it's a must-own for the Master System. So really, really chuffed to get that. And the last game here, final game, and yeah, really chuffed to get this because it's quite an uncommon game on the Master System, and it's definitely sort of gone up in price. It's an interesting sort of action platformer, but the reason why I wanted it so badly is because it's a superhero game. I'm a big fan of the character, and it's exclusive to the Master System. This game is not available anywhere else. And it's definitely gone up in price, I'll tell you that now. Did I overpay for it? I don't know. But I will say this though, it's in lovely mint condition. And that is the Flash. And I've got to say, man, it is lovely. I mean, the manual, everything, like it's in really nice condition. I was very, very pleased. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of the Flash. If any of you guys that have watched any of the streams I've taken part in over at the VHS Bootleggers channel, we did a stream on Marvel and DC characters, the sort of DC worlds. And on the DC one, I sort of brought up the Flash. He's just like one of my favourite characters. Like I really don't like how he's portrayed in the films. The actor they got to play him. I didn't like what they did with him. But yeah, I've always been a big fan of the Flash. I used to watch the old TV show from the early 90s. I was a big fan of that. And the new show that's out at the moment, when I started watching it, I did enjoy it, but then around season 6 it kind of lost me. I just didn't like it anymore. I just sort of dropped it. But anyway, back to the game. This is a very cool sort of action platformer, side scroller, and like I say, it's unique to the Master System, and being a Flash game, I wanted it. And to my knowledge, there's only 3 games based off the Flash. There's this one, there's one on the Game Boy, which is based off the old TV show, and there's one on the Game Boy Advance, which is actually quite a fun game. It's sort of like an isometric beat 'em up, and it actually plays quite well. It's a decent little game. But yeah, it's just basically it's one I've wanted to have for a long time, and I've just always put it off. And then I started to see the price climb on it. I think I paid about 70 for this. This was a pricey one, 70 quid. But like I say, it's in lovely condition. Honestly, it's lovely. Love it. Great condition. So really chuffed to get this. So that is it, guys. That is basically my pickups. You know, most of this stuff was, I did sort of splurge. I indulged myself a bit more over the month of May. This wasn't just all May pickups. Some of this stuff was bought a couple of months before as well. I've had some of this stuff for like ages. But I did splurge, especially with the Master System. Really went out of my way to get a lot of the games that I've sort of wanted to get for a long time. And really chuffed to get those games. So yeah, really happy with those. But stay tuned, guys. I will be doing another pickups video. Next video is going to be Blu-rays, DVDs, vinyls, and even a figure. Decided to treat myself to a figure as well. So if you like anime and stuff like that, and Blu-rays, movies, horror, you know, all that stuff, then check out my forthcoming video as well. Yeah, so anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in, sticking right to the end. Really do appreciate it, guys. It really does mean a lot when people interact with me, leave me a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. I love the communication. So thank you so much, guys, and I will be back soon. Bye bye.